streaming. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Frank with the Dazzling Gentleman, joined today by OG Ryan, and today we're just gonna weeb. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Frank with the Dazzling Gentleman, joined today by. Lol, I got my sound thing going through. That's fine. So, I guess I want to start off by Ryan. What are you watching right now?
Not a whole lot actually, because I just finished. Little Witch Academia. Actually,
Oh god,
it was the last series that I just finished. It was really good.
My kids love that show. It's so funny because I found it more or less by accident. I was like, oh, this is because it was in the kids section on Netflix, and I was like, that looks like anime, and I click on it and I'm like, no, it's anime, and then my kids are like, ah, it's great, and then there's explosions and they're all fighting monsters and shit, and it was wonderful.
It's like the closest we'll ever get to like a Harry Potter anime.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I've only seen like a couple of episodes, so like I can't say any of the characters' names. But the alchemist girl, the freaky looking alchemist. Yeah, I love her. She's
Everyone
my jam.
does.
She's my jam. I mean, she's absolutely wonderful. I don't know. I think the character design that anime is fantastic.
It is.
It strikes me as kind of like a very feel good anime. Yeah. Man, I watch entirely too much anime then, because
I read a whole lot of it. I'm not caught up on actually watching things. That's the problem.
What are you reading right now then? Let's start with the manga section then.
Shit. Let me pull up in my folder here, bookmarks.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm like, oh look, I have like 200,000 bookmarks of anime or manga I'm reading. Fuck.
I have like 18 different series that I'm reading right now. Fairy Tail just ended.
The whole thing?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Like last week, it just ended.
Wow, that's shocking.
Like 545 chapters or something like that.
Well, I mean, honestly, I haven't read Fairy Tail in an age. It seems like to me, like once I got on that little island, and I guess that was probably their halfway-ish point, where they had that they got like the One Piece time jump.
Mm-hmm.
I was like nah, and then it came back and I was like, nah, I still care.
The typical shonen time skip. That's what that was.
Yeah, I was like, nah. I mean, we're following that, and I'm like, I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm done here. I mean, like, and I think like one of my biggest things too is that I'm like, I understand that the characters are growing up, you know, both in like terms of their power and their physicality, but I'm like, I don't think Lucy's tits could get any larger.
She's not Nami from One Piece.
I'm like, why? Yeah, my hero. I don't understand how you can have a character like Lucy and be like, she's 15. She has double G's. I mean, like, she... And then she's, like, running all the time, and she's fighting, and I'm like... But you have literally the largest tits on the planet. Like, I mean,
you would have the sorest back and shoulders.
I mean, like, either the sorest, or I mean, like, she strips down. I mean, and it looks like Arnold. Like her front looks like soft and dainty, but like her back's all fucking shredded. I mean, she's got like lats for days. She spreads her lats and flies away.
Mr. Olympia from behind, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have a hard time. I have a hard time dealing with that because every time that they fight, her shirt gets ripped off. I'm like, guys, she's still like 15. She's still 15. She's still 15. Knock it off. God.
Doesn't have to make sense.
And it's so funny because Fairy Tail's fantastic. I enjoy the story and I like the characters, but like it does kind of like poke all those super fan servicey buttons.
It does.
Every volume. I mean, like there is I have never read an installment of Fairy Tail where someone wasn't getting naked.
Pretty much.
I mean, like
that's almost every chapter as well. Not to mention volume.
Yeah, Nami and Robin both get fucking ridiculous titties. I mean, I love fan servicey shit, but there is a point where I'm like, physics should play a part somewhere. Oh my god. Okay, so I was watching this is totally left field. Did you ever watch that video where the woman goes fucking skydiving naked?
Oh yeah.
So so we watched Dragon Art Academy, and in the second episode, the dragon, whom is female, is up in the sky, and she gets out of the dragon. She's got all of her clothes melted off. But it's supposed to be like this sweet little moment of her and her partner are together. And my wife and I are watching it, and she's like, "Oh," and she's falling. I started going. Fucking Tara's like, "No, I can't not think that now." You're welcome.
You know that's how it would work. You know it. Those things would not remain perky and firm enough to resist, terminal velocity. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, in any scene where, like, any woman in anime... I say any woman in anime at this point just because, like, they can't ever be realistically proportioned. And in any anime where a woman is going to be going anything more than 15 miles an hour outside of a vehicle... and like they get like punched or thrown or whatever, and like they land and like they're perfect. And I'm like, no,
not everything can be dead or alive, Frank.
I mean, like it'd be like they got thrown and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, like Robin gets thrown, tit comes up, bam, breaks her perfect fucking nose. I mean, like, she just the blood sprays out. Ah, they're like, oh my god, I can't believe you'd hit her in the face. I totally didn't. I totally did.
It wasn't me, man.
It wasn't me. Look at the nose print on our knockers, man. It's not my fault. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I love ecchi manga and anime, but I literally cannot stop laughing every time that I do watch it because I'm like, skin doesn't do that. Skin doesn't do that. It's never in the physics. I love. But you said DOA. They're closer. Yeah. It's like they stopping. I think the funniest one I've ever seen is probably the original the breast physics mods for Street Fighter V. Because they are fucking amazingly funny, because they're closer to actual physics. Because like Team Ninja was like, we want the boobs to move, but we want them to still be perfect. So like they go like a little side to side, or they go like a little bit up to down. But like in the Street Fighter, like the mod community put like the breast physics back into it, and it'd be like they fight, take a punch, like they take a swing, and the tit like goes back. Like, I'm like, these guys fucking get it. They know what it's like. I just imagine that there's some big chested mod woman out there being like, it's not even like that. This is what it's like. I'll show you guys. I'll show you how bad it sucks. This is why I had to drop out of karate. I mean, I love it. I love Anime is so good.
It is.
I love it, and I know that I always get into the argument of people say, I just can't deal with cartoons. Yeah, but it's not really a cartoon. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It is animated, but I mean, there are very few cartoons really as far as anime goes. I mean, like my son watches Bon Bon, which is still kind of like it's about a squirrel and a raccoon, and they basically fuck with each other like all the time, and they're some of the jokes that they make. I'm like, this is. I mean, like I know that it's geared towards kids, but holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the age-old weeb debate: is are animes cartoons? And even the stuff that's produced in Japan that we would here in America consider cartoons, like stuff for toddlers, they still call it anime over there.
Yeah,
because that's just their word for animation.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like I get that. I agree with that, because that is. It's all encompassing. It's I guess like for us it's different, and it's difficult because like there is that difference that like whenever like you get into the anime, we don't generally get Crayon Shin-chan.
Yeah.
We get, Fist of the North Star. And so it's like for like I guess Western audiences there is that divide versus like here, I mean, like, even if I watch DC animated stuff, I mean, like, I'll call it an animated movie. Because, like, I don't like to give it that it's a cartoon moniker. Because I'm like, this is not Johnny Bravo. This isn't, Looney Tunes. And I'm like, I don't want people to think of Looney Tunes when I say Batman has a movie. And they're like, it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Dude gets eviscerated straight up. Guts come out. I mean, like, I was talking to some guys at work. We're talking about the Castlevania. I'm calling it animated series. And it is so unfucking believably violent. And it is so unfucking believably good. And
it's getting a second season.
It has to. It's only 4 episodes. I mean, like, oh my God, if it didn't get a second season, I don't know what I would do with my life. I watched all of it in a single sitting. I was just like, I couldn't stop. And then, but I'm trying to tell people at my work, I'm like, you guys would really like this. And they're like, oh, it's animated. And it's a fantastic story. Cool-ass characters.
What's your fucking point?
People die constantly. I'm like, motherfucker gets his guts pulled out and then he gets broken in half. I'm like, whoa, what more do you want? I mean, like, I can't get any more adult. I mean, the market is literally slathered in guts. Actual human viscera. Jared says anime is an art. It is an art, and I love it. And depending on the art, it could be good or not. Looking at you, what was it? God, there was that one in the first Full Metal Alchemist. They were like the animation was so good, and then it just dropped off, and everybody was like, "I'm gonna get." Do you remember Sayuki?
Oh yeah.
Like, remember whenever we were watching it and the fight scenes were super choreographed and wonderful, and then all of a sudden they started doing the like black foreground, red background, and then they were doing like the Ninja Gaiden, psh. And it was just all dialogue. And I'm like, what is happening?
That shit got so bad.
I'm like, this is supposed to be an action anime. There is no action. This is a still life. I mean, it's one of those things where like the older Japanese guys will bicycle around with the little story box in the back, and they just pull the little slides out. that was Ginsaman and Sayuki in like the later half of the first first series season. I don't know. I've lost count because they did like they get Ginsaman and Sayuki, then they did Reloaded, then they did, and then like basically they were Metallica, where each Reloaded got worse. And
yeah, I think there were 3 or 4 seasons. I can't remember how many, but they did get progressively worse.
Yeah, there's a new one that's out right now. I know, like, it's funny because it came out and I was like, are we really?
Who asked for this?
Really? Like, where was the demographic for this? Who was up on a soapbox being like, you know what we need? More Sayuki. No one ever should have asked for it. It was awful. I mean, it got so bad. I mean, okay, fucking for real. They're going to India, right? That was the plan. Go to India. How the fuck long does it take you to get to India? From China. From China. I mean, and they got a Jeep. Assholes should have been there in like 3 days. You know?
It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, it was stupid. I mean, I don't know, not a fan of that. Not a fan of the I'm going to take 600 years and 30,000 million episodes.
Yes, Kyle. China.
Oh, mine didn't even come through. China. Oh, it just came through. I was on the delay.
No, it's just Kyle time traveling again.
God damn it, Kyle.
So something else that I did watch, not terribly recently, but I thought was very good and is absolutely worth mentioning, was Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
That show is fucking amazing.
That sounds really familiar. I feel like I've looked into it, but I don't think I ended up watching it. What is it about?
It's like a steampunk. It's like a steampunk Walking Dead on a train that takes place in like feudal Japan. It sounds awesome. Super fucking weird, but the animation is incredible.
That actually sounds awesome. That totally sounds like my jam. Damn it. Why is there so much shit to watch all the time? This is why I have 2 monitors. Jared says directions brought to you by Moses. One of the finest countries, but they're killing us on trade. And they're also killing us on gas mileage, apparently, because if you can't get to China in 3 days on a Jeep, they're probably gouging you at the pump. 80%.
No, you just fucked up.
80% water.
Does this have a gas?
Right.
Ew.
Oh man, my car almost died because of those assholes. Bastards. Let's see what else I've been watching. I watched Yojo Senki. What was it? Saga of Tiny the Evil.
Yeah.
And it was literally everything I wanted and more.
Speaking of amazing art and animation, that show.
Oh. It was hard for me not to have like a religious experience every time. Every time that like she got like the scary face and she would just start blasting people. I'm like, look, I know like you're like 11, but I mean like I still think that you're great.
That show throws you for a loop too. Like from episode 1 to 2, it's like a complete flip as to what you expect.
Yeah, I mean, that's true because like in the first episode, I was like, okay, this bitch is evil, and I love that. And then I'm like episode 2, I'm like, this bitch was a dude. I'm confused. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I have noticed though that like in both anime and in manga, that the dying and going to an alternate reality has become like just rampant. It used to be like 1 or 2, but now
it's a hugely popular genre right now. It seems like every new series that I go to read, based on a recommendation that I read somewhere, it's always some sort of spin on that. Like I died and went to an alternate dimension. I got sucked into a video game, as like a super powerful video game character, and then I got killed and had to go all the way back to level 1. Mm-hmm. It's a rampant genre right now, and people are kind of getting sick of it.
I mean, because like it would be okay if like they did it, I guess, differently. But like whenever you can attribute it to that genre every time, I mean, that horse is like 2 miles back. Do you really want to go back and whip it more? I mean, we should just leave it. What was the one I went to a new world with my smartphone.
ReZero?
No. Well, I mean, he's talking about ReZero. I mean, I've seen that. I actually like that show because that's what happens when you die. You go into another dimension because science. Duh. It's funny. Okay, look. This is. Never mind. I was going to talk about.
Here we go. No. Here comes the tangent.
I was going to talk about Mormonism for a second, but I decided not to. No.
Can we not?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, wait, I could. but I'm not. Oh, look, I'm not gonna mix my weeb and my scary guys at my door. Wait, fuck. But so, no, it was I went to another world on my smartphone. It is basically this kid dies, and then he's obviously sent to another world, but then he says, can I have, basically God himself tells him, I'm going to send you to this world because it has a low birth rate. What do you want? What kind of powers do you want? He says, can I just use my smartphone? God's like, sure, but I'm going to give you all this other shit too. And so he sends him to this other world, and this kid's got a smartphone. He can't read, but I mean, like, he's got like a Google Translator and shit, and he's got like maps, and he can still access the internet from Japan on his smartphone. And I'm like, this show is so fucking goofy, and it's
sounds like Konosuba but with a phone.
Pretty much. I mean, it's very close to that. The character is not nearly as detestable as
come on.
Look, Kazuma is fucking a horrible human being, but he is super fucking funny. Konosuba and Konosuba 2. Dude, oh my god. Both seasons of Konosuba were I didn't have a lot to look forward to at the end of the week. Konosuba was it.
Yes.
And at one point it was Konosuba and it was Yojo Senki at the same time. And so like my Saturday was like, just gotta make it. I just gotta make it to Saturday. I don't care about anything else. It's like you almost got hit by a car. Gotta make it to Saturday though. I mean, like, I got both my eyes and I got my ears, and I mean, I don't even really need anything else. So I mean, like, let's nail it. And I just every Saturday I'm like, this made the whole week worth it. The shit that Cosmo would do, and the rest of that group. I tried to explain Konosuba to my dad, because my dad, for those of you who don't know, my dad watches an unbelievable amount of anime, and I'm trying to explain it to him, and I said, imagine your basic dungeon party. He says, okay. So you got your healer and your DPS. And he says, okay. And I said, you got your tank and you got your other DPS. So there's 4 people. And he says, okay. And I said, now imagine that they're all fucking horrible. And he's like they're not good at their job. And I'm like, and they're not good people. And I'm like, and I don't mean that they're not good people. Like they're mean. They have debilitating issues. Like one being,
they got
like,
fucking problems.
They got problems, yo. I mean, like, when your tank is supposed to take the damage, I get that. But when she has a screaming O for taking the damage and goes out of her way to try to be viciously violated, there may be an issue. A smidge.
Slight spoiler, but season 2, where Kazuma picks up Darkness and throws her towards that cave, and she lands on her neck, and you hear her neck breaking. I think I've watched that scene just for that sound effect probably 30, 40 times.
It's so fucking funny. Like, I love the one where she's all fucking tied up and they put her in front of that stampede of ostriches or whatever, and she's like, no, it's fine, I can take them. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. What's happening right now? Oh man, that show. Did you watch it's like the same. It's just like the same kind of animation style. Did you watch Interview with Monster Girls?
No, do you mean Everyday Life with Monster Girls?
Well, on Crunchyroll they had it translated as Interviews with Monster Girls. I don't know if it's anywhere else it's different, but all the translations I've seen have been Interview with Monster Girls. It's 13 episodes, and it is completely worth your time. It is about a high school that has a teacher who's like Stud McMuffintop, and it is in a world that has acknowledged the existence of the supernatural, but they're just like everybody else. Like a vampire can be out in daylight, but it just makes her uncomfortable. She really loves garlic shit, but she does subsist off of blood, but she doesn't really need to. And then there's like a Doulahan, so she carries her head everywhere.
I'm wondering if this is a spin-off of Everyday Life with Monster Girls.
It might be. I'd never heard of that.
Huh.
But
it's called Monster Musume, but yeah, it was like the first season. I think that was 13 episodes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monster Musume is the one
Lamia
with
girl, the harpy,
yeah.
the
That's
centaur.
no, because that one's like straight up like hardcore etchy. I mean, that's
Well,
borderline.
yeah.
That's borderline porn. Interview with Monster Girls is like it is just like it's just a cute story that it's funny. It does there's because they're like 14. There's zero. Well, okay, their teacher is a succubus, but she's trying to live a normal life. So she wears like sweatpants and a sweater like up to here, and she's got her hair all fucked up like all the time, just so that like she tries to minimize people noticing her. But if she like, gets close to somebody or like brushes their elbow with her elbow, like they just drop in love with her like immediately. She's like, God damn it. But no, that show is adorable, and it is completely worth your time if you have the opportunity to watch it. It's super cute, and it was out last season. I was got something in my eye. Oh my god, man down for the king.
Yeah, I'll check that one out then.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was it's not quite a feel good anime, but it is definitely cute. It's one of those neat animes that I really like where there is no antagonist. It's just these people living their lives, and like you learn about the characters, and like I don't know what it says about me as a person, where like I get to a point where I'm like, what's gonna happen to him though? Like which one of them's getting hit by a car? I'm like, speaking of which, have you ever read Fuka?
No.
I'm gonna spoil it for you.
Okay.
It's a manga about making music. First of all, I don't know if that would float your boat or not. It is literally.
Read a manga. I did watch an anime about making manga.
That's true.
Bakuman, also a great series.
Wonderful. My dad consumed all of it. My love story. Love story's the worst. The part with the saran wrap. Dude, that's a friendship ender. I couldn't. I'm like, Ryan, I love you, but no. There's no way. Okay, so spoilers. I need to get a spoiler alert on here, but just think spoilers. I can't. It's backwards. Fuck. Never mind. So spoilers. Fuka, the manga. It's fairly long, and it starts off with this guy who's kind of a social recluse, and he ends up coming in contact with this extremely high-spirited girl who doesn't know what she wants to do. And then through talking to her and then interacting with her grudgingly, he ends up making the comment, why don't you start your own band? Because they end up liking the same music. And then they fall in love. And they start a band together, and it's great, and everything is wonderful. And they're going to their first concert. Everybody's there, and she's listening to their song because she's their singer, and she's running out, and it's all shining in stars, and everyone's happy. Bitch gets hit by a truck. Dead. She's on the fucking cover. And they killed her. Goddamn. I was like, wow. This was because it was all feel good up to that point. And then it was just like legs right out from under you. And for like the next like 4 or 5 chapters, you just sit there like, what? You almost expect her to show up, because that's a pretty normal anime trip. Somebody dies, but then they just reappear. But like, oh my god, I'm like, this bitch is dead. They buried her. They cremated her. I mean, like, she's fucking in the ground. She's fucking in the ground.
She's super dead.
She's super dead, yo. She's not Superman dead. She is just super dead. And I'm like, I ended up stop reading it because I'm like, I don't even know how to process what just happened. Bitch be dead, yo. And the end. I'm like, that was so depressing. Like, oh. Bakuman has the saddest funeral. I don't even remember a funeral in Bakuman.
Ryan, tell them about the funeral. Okay, so on Bakuman, on the intro to season 3, the last season, there's just this cutaway to a funeral scene of it's just a shot of the main character in like a tux, like black and white, black tie, and he's standing in front of a grave in the rain, and then it like zooms in on his face, and tears are just like pouring down his face. And we convinced Jeremiah's wife that this funeral scene was going to be like a big thing at the end of the series, and you had to watch out for it. And we kept just like drilling it into her over and over again. Like, look, Jordan, look, it's the funeral scene. It's coming up. It's coming up. Wait for it. And we get through the whole series. And that scene from the intro has nothing to fucking do with anything. Absolutely nothing. So we had her like just on the edge of her seat waiting for this super sad moment, and it never arrived.
That's amazing. I love that, and I love doing that to people. So
yeah, because Jeremiah and I had both read the manga before we saw the anime, so we knew that this funeral scene had nothing to do with anything. But we had her completely convinced, and she was so pissed when it was over.
Wouldn't that fuck you up though if like they pulled a Full Metal Alchemist on it? And like at like a halfway point, they just switched and like they went a completely different direction than the manga, and they legit killed one of the two guys that were working in the manga. You would sitting there like, we were kidding, but holy shit, somebody died. Yeah, I love comedies. Okay, let me preface that. I love comedies in anime. I cannot stand American comedies. I generally speaking, what fucking movie was it? Someone, oh, you guys tried to convince me to watch Lego Movie. Told me how like it was super funny and it was so great and whatever. I sat there the entire time like this.
Because it is.
I literally sat there the entire time just going. And then it like rolled credits.
We know you have no taste.
And then we rolled credits. I was like, "That's the best hour and a half of my life. I can't have back." I'm like,
whatever. The Lego Movie was fucking fantastic.
And it's funny because somebody was like, "Are you gonna go see the Lego Batman movie?" I'm like, "No, because I didn't like the Lego Movie." And they're like, "Oh!" And I was like, "I know, right?" Snape also kills Dumbledore, and I read the book.
Well, see, Frank, and I told you this before, is that the Lego Batman movie has nothing to do with the Lego Movie.
I know, but it doesn't matter.
It is its own complete individual DC film. So no,
but
you can't sit there and tell me that when people tell you they don't want to watch DC animated movies because they're animated, you can't fucking sit there and tell me that you won't watch the Lego Batman movie because it's Lego.
Yes, I can.
you fucking hypocrite.
I'm coming right out of that swamp. Hypocrite. But no, I just can't get behind it. I'm playing the Lego Hobbit and the Lego Star Wars games with my son, and I cannot enjoy them. Like I play them and I'm like, and he's like, "Daddy, I need some help," and I just there. Don't make me play this goddamn thing again. Every time I pick up the controller, it's like being punched. I dislike it. I don't know what it is about Legos. I just don't like Legos. Apparently I am anti-Lego.
That's got to be the thing. If you don't even like the Lego games, you just really hate Lego in particular.
Maybe it's because I spent too much time stepping on them. I mean, it's like my body just flinches at them. They're like, it's just like I need to get away. You know, I mean, like there is something magical, and by magical I mean like terrible about waking up in the middle of the night to a crying baby. You try to get there, and then you step on a fucking Lego halfway there. It's like dark. You're barefoot. You're going through the hallway, kind of like at speed, and you step on that Lego, and it just cuts your foot clean in half. I mean, it's awful. Anime.
Yes, we've gotten off topic.
Smidge.
I'm reading. What else am I reading here? The one you recommended to me, Tomo-chan.
I love that.
Ono no Ko. It's on a bit of a break right now, but it's a fucking amazing series, and it doesn't take a lot of time to read.
No, I mean it comes out like it's what I look forward to every morning because they're very bizarre in that they produce a chapter a day. So you know, I get into work and like I kind of like okay, work. I mean, it literally just because I just go read from the top and scroll to the bottom. Done. Okay, start working again. And the story is really good, and the characters are good, and the animation is good. That being said, the guy apparently spends most of his time drawing hentai.
Does he really?
Yeah, that's why he takes so many hiatuses, because he has deadlines for his hentais that he draws, and they are the not good kind of hentais. like the not necessarily 100% consensual group hentais. Yeah,
which is weird because Tomo-chan has absolutely nothing of the sort.
it's so cute. Like the whole story
super
is
clean.
Yeah, it is. And then it's like, like somebody said he does all this hentai, and I'm like, it was out of curiosity because I like his animation style, and I clicked on it. I was like, my, this is dirty. You're not supposed to put socks there. Let's see. What else are you reading?
Let's see. Although it doesn't update very often and there aren't many chapters for it, one thing I am enjoying the hell out of is Goblin Slayer. Because it's very much kind of the new Berserk.
Oh man, he's so savage.
Oh yeah,
he's so savage.
That manga is violent and gory and explicit, and
I love that he's so specific. Like, it's like, we need you to come kill an arch griffin. Nah. But you're like triple platinum. Nah. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. There's like the highest, top tierest, baddest goblin. I'm gonna fuck this guy. I'm gonna fuck his face.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I was not smoking during the Lego thing, but I had to get that out. Well, scroll up. Everything is awesome. It's funny, I hate that movie, but I sing that song all the time. Just to annoy people at work. If it makes Frank blush, you know it's bad. It doesn't even make me blush. It just, makes all the blood rush to my weenus. Or in this case, my weebus. Goblin Slayer is so good. And it feels very episodic. And they introduced that girl at the very beginning, the Priestley girl, and she feels completely pointless.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, like, in the very beginning...
Done anything major yet.
Yeah, in the very beginning, she was super important because she's part of that party, and then, like, like, the goblins, like, massacred everybody, and then gang raped that one lady, which was gonna... But... Very nice! But then he gets introduced and he kills everybody, and that's fantastic. And then you get to follow their escapades up to the point where the manga is now. But she's there, but she's such an afterthought. It just felt like there was so much weight being put into her character that whenever it felt like she should have been like a lot more present than what she is. She just kind of like, she's like, nah. And then we have her. She's like an afterthought.
Well, especially since they brought on all the other characters that they've introduced so far. She's just sort of been, like, pushed to the back.
She's so dull by comparison. Because you got, like, that rock and wood elf, that fucking super burly dwarf elemental shaman guy, and then, like, I don't even know what the dragonkin guy. I mean, they're so fucking cool by comparison that I'm like, I don't even care about her anymore. You can just leave her behind for the goblins.
At the beginning, they made her seem like, okay, it's going to be Goblin Slayer and her, and they're going to be like the two main characters of this story. And then as soon as like they get out of the goblin hovel in the beginning, the Goblin Slayer's just like, okay, bye.
Yeah. All right, see you later.
You can
bye.
Hang out, but you stay over there.
Yeah, we're not friends. Look, we're not together. This isn't a thing. Look, platinum, and I don't know what the fuck you are, like wood. You're like wood or dirt or chips. Rocks. I don't know. Just get the fuck out of the way. I mean, like, he definitely spent a lot of time not being super supportive of her, for sure. But you did mention Berserk. And isn't it on hiatus again?
It is on hiatus again until September or November.
This guy takes a lot of vacations.
Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of? That bitch that wrote D-Gray, man.
Oh, God. At least that finally got a fucking ending.
Yeah, I know. I mean, she had to before she died. I mean, because she's like... So a little bit of history. D-Gray Man was coming out like clockwork, and then she took a vacation. And then she wrote, like, Ann Chapter, and then she took a vacation. And then she wrote Ann Chapter, and then she got sick. And then she came back, I understand getting sick. And then she wrote... half of a chapter, and then didn't publish it, and then left it to her cronies, and then they didn't know what to do because she didn't write anything, and then she broke her hand, so then she can't work anymore, and then she went on hiatus after the handbrake, was fixed. So that's like a year and a half of hiatus. And then
somewhere in there, she got dropped by one or two publishers.
Gee, I can't possibly imagine why. And then eventually she comes back and she's like, I'm gonna finish D Gray Man. We're gonna do this. And then so she releases 5 chapters and it goes on hiatus. I'm like, you should probably just finish it.
That's what I'm worried about with Berserk right now. Is that Kentaro Miura at some point is just gonna fucking die. He's been doing this since 1980.
Oh my god! So do you remember the Robert Jordan series of books, The Wheel of Time? Mm-hmm. This motherfucker wrote these Trollopian level books, 1,400 fucking pages each, and there's 12 of them. And in his the irony, the fucking irony is that in his acknowledgments in the very beginning of the book, he says, he's Robert Jordan from blah, 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 married to blah, blah, blah. I'll keep writing until they nail the last nail in my coffin. And then he fucking dies. And I was like, called you. I mean, God's up there going, show me what you got. So he dies. But he's been writing these books fucking forever. He's up to 12. And the 12th book was one I stopped reading because they went, they went completely around in a circle. And got all the way back to the beginning and nothing happened. Everyone was back where they started. And I was like, that's 1,300 fucking pages of nothing. Nobody died. Nothing happened. And then he dies immediately after that book was written. And I'm almost kind of like, he probably should have. But then people took over for him. And they kept writing them. And I'm like, oh, they'll finally get a conclusion to the series. And they just kept fucking writing the books. And I'm like, you're up to 20. It's over. It's done. No one cares anymore. Fuck! I'm looking at you, series of Dune books. Oh, look, I love Dune. They need to let it go. They need to make the fucking song. Let that shit the fuck go. I mean, just stop it. Stop it. That's how I was starting to feel about Naruto and Bleach. I'm like, because One Piece is weird because One Piece is still interesting every time I read it, which I haven't done in a while. But every time I read it, it's still interesting to me. One Piece, or not One Piece, but Bleach and Naruto, I was like, okay. And I don't care anymore. I mean, I don't care anymore. You're all grumpy pusses, all of you, just all of you, and there's not a one of you that's fucking interesting anymore. And I'm like, oh, Neji died. Well, -1. Okay.
Spoilers.
No, I don't care. I don't care.
No, Naruto. Both
I'm
Naruto
so sorry.
and Bleach got super fucking boring towards the end. Bleach picked it up a little bit, but not enough to make up for it.
I literally didn't care anymore once they killed Genryo Tensei. I was like, off, because he was the standard. Yeah. I mean, he's you're powerful, but you're never gonna be Genryo powerful. And then he died. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, boop, boop. I'm so tired of Ichigo comes swooping in and he's got some new hollow form and how much hollification can you go? How much hollification? Yeah, how much hollification can you go through until you're just literally a black hole? I mean, you're just an abscess of light. Just that's what he's gonna do. He's like, you guys will see my final form. Turns into a neutron star and just collapses everything into himself. He can't get any more whole.
Yeah, as Jeremiah was saying, Naruto committed a cardinal sin in storytelling, and that's creating a brand new ultimate villain right at the very end of the series for no fucking reason.
Yeah. Zero interest. I mean, they had Pain, or was it Pain? No, it was Toby was the last one, or whatever the fuck his name was. And then all of a sudden there was somebody at the end. I was like, okay.
Who is this bitch, and why should I care?
I don't know. All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Whatever. It's fine. I mean, hey, at the end they were like, okay, wait, this is the bad guy. Yeah. Have you been watching, I mean, I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Boruto.
No.
Yeah.
Not even going to bother.
I read the first 5 chapters because I'm like, I like a lot of the characters that were in it, and it's kind of neat to see them older, because the only difference is that because the war is over and they're not fighting between everybody, they're not all jaded like their parents were, and so they still have like that bright-eyed, everything's awesome and everything's going to be great, and we're all fighting for a better world and whatever. And then Naruto is like this hardcore administrator, which I find fucking amazingly funny. And but then I'm like, and then his son's such a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
Boruto holds absolutely no fucking interest for me at all.
Yeah,
I'm not going to bother with reading it. I'm not going to bother with watching it.
I mean, it's really not. I mean, the thing is that it's not done by the same guy. It's just the characters that he created are being used as the basis. Fucking jutsu castles, yeah. No, I mean, like, and I get that that's like a part of the story.
It's the Dragon Ball GT equivalent of.
It is because the guy literally he from what I understand he basically signed it over and was like, all right, go. I mean, he's I'm done. I'm done with it. Like it ended like I wanted it to. Nah, I mean, it's been fucking... I've been doing this for 16 years now. I'm done. We're out of here.
It's been real, guys.
Yeah, it's been real. It's been fun, but it's never really been real fun. So, I mean, and I don't blame him for backing out of it. I wouldn't want to be in there for, they're like, oh, Sensei, we're so glad that you finished that. You ready for round 2? Nope. Still kind of sore. I'm done. I'm real done. What else? What else you reading? What else you got?
Monster. Back on the modern day guy dies and gets resurrected into a video game world genre. This one I actually do like.
Because it's weird.
It is.
I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, you go ahead and tell him about it.
Do I have to? So no. This guy, it's sort of like this guy from like a futuristic sort of world. Where people actually do develop kind of like video game superpowers. He's like this super arrogant fucking asshole guy. You don't get to learn much about him in the real world, but he ends up getting killed. And he resurrects in this fantasy world as the lowest of low, like level 0 baby goblin. And I mean like infant goblin. And the story just goes with him, and he still retains all of his knowledge and a couple of his abilities from his previous life, one of which is the ability that he can absorb powers from anything else by devouring it. So as he grows up, he'll defeat a monster and then eat it, and he'll gain random skills based on whatever he ate.
And he fucks literally everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally everything. I mean, like he's like, bring out the Cobalt women, bring out the Goblin women, bring out the human women, the Elf women, the fucking Fairy women, the Brownie women. I fuck them all. He's got I mean, it's not even a harem. They just come by like a rotisserie man. He just kind of like, he just like fucking spins them on his weenus and then just slides them off and says next. And the thing is, like, it's funny because like. I guess like dimensionally I find it amusing because like at one point he becomes like this giant fucking like super duper huge ogre, and the women come up to like his waist, and I'm like,
it's like that picture of the hamster eating the banana.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like I mean, you'd think that these women like be like hey, he's a pretty fun lay. Well, I mean, like, getting a little challenging. We probably shouldn't be here anymore. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not doing that. And like, so you could tell like the ones because like they'd be like coming out of his head, they're like they'd be having like crossed their legs to keep their guts from falling out. I'm like, and I feel so. I'm like, oh, God bless anime, the elasticity. You just bounce right back. It's terrible. But then he eats weird shit to get powers. Mm-hmm. But he eats a kobold, which I think is funny. Because in EverQuest, I was always like, fuck these kobolds. Fuck them. I mean, do kobolds drop meat? Because I want to eat this kobold. I'm going to eat it raw. And then this guy does. And then he eats a skeleton. He just eats a bone. And he knows he used to be human, and he eats a human. That was fucking weird.
The story's got like some almost like Pokemon elements to it too, with like the whole like evolution chain. Like he starts out as a baby goblin, And then as he gets powerful enough, he, evolves into like a hobgoblin, and then you start branching off into like the rare variants, and eventually, he ends up as that like pitch black ogre, sort of thing.
Yeah, like a what the hell do they call him? They call him like a. There was a very specific name. I can't remember what it is, but he gets very powerful, and then they get like a bunch of. I mean, like they're all like leveling up. It feels like not only like an RPG, but in a lot of elements, it feels like an RTS. And like, cause like they're getting all this loot and they're dungeon crawling, and I'm like, you're still goblins. You still live in a cave. Maybe consider branching out. Make something of the cave. At least smooth the walls out. I mean, like, come on, help yourself out. Make it look nice. Make it look nice. I mean, it's still fucking cave. There are crawlies on floor. I mean, you become super level powerful and you still shit into a bucket.
At least dig a trough or something.
Something. I mean, you've got like a bazillion skeletons. I mean, like, well, skeletons probably carry the gunny canal out. That's perfect. That's perfect menial labor for a skeleton. What else you got?
Let's see. Still reading Nanatsu no Taizai, The Seven Deadly Sins.
That looks like it's getting ready to end soon.
I can't tell if it is or not. It looks like it could easily end after this arc is over.
Well, it's like they got to that point where they were discussing the getting the powers back for Diane and King, and then all of a sudden it was like, now we're all in full armor. We're gonna go fight in Camelot. It was like, whoa, that was a fucking super fast jump because they were for like. It
seems like it's being rushed a bit. I'm wondering if they're
because they went from like
being rushed to end it.
I really feel like they are, because like I said, they went from like nothing to now they're all full armored, and like they have like the kingdom support, and they're going to Camelot, and I was like, whoa, holy shit. I mean, that was fast.
Yeah.
And it feels like every chapter is like, I feel like there's like a guy on the other end going. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's been a fantastic series. I think that the art is like really close to Fairy Tail, as far as like, I'm like, should she wear it? I mean, probably not useful, but you do you, Buttercup.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the story is a lot better than Fairy Tail, though. There's actually not a lot about Fairy Tail in retrospect that I really like. Tits, though. Makes some good spank material.
That is true.
Probably shouldn't say that out loud.
You said worse on this podcast, let's be honest.
You take that back. Look. Just because I said that I read Boruto doesn't mean you get to rub it in my face forever.
Yeah. That's absolutely what I can do.
What else you got?
The one I recommended to you that you couldn't get through, Tales of Demons and Gods.
Oh my god, it's so hard though, because like the translations in the beginning are so terrible.
The translations for about the first half to 2/3 of it are god awful. I mean, some of the worst shit you've ever seen.
Like, I just couldn't. I tried. I read like 5 chapters of it, and I got to a point where I'm like, I can't. Look, he says that one time I want the thing do. And I'm like, no, I don't even know what that means. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you could tell that somebody was like, had gotten their hand, because it's a Chinese manhwa, and you could tell that somebody had taken the Chinese version, translated it over to Vietnamese, handed it off to a Korean who translated it into German, and then that was translated into like very poor English
with like Google Translator.
Yeah, with Google Translate.
I mean, like, I'm just trying to read it. I'm like, I mean, it probably would have done me better if they just left it in German. That made more sense.
No, almost all of the chapters that have been coming out in the recent months have been very, very good, very well translated. But it's a slog to get through it.
I am definitely I know that sometimes I say I feel like I'm running out of stuff to read. I don't think I'm ever gonna be to the point where like I have to like mentally flagellate myself in order to fucking like get through a series. I'm like, look, I can't. It's so bad. It's so bad. I can't even do it. I mean, I just want to correct it and send it back because I'm like I don't know what I'm looking at anymore.
Well, there was the other one that I recommended to you that had like the amazing, like almost Marvel style artwork, the Feng Shenji.
I read like 2 or 3 chapters of it, and I haven't been able to get back to it.
I'm about 55 chapters in right now, and there's like 180 chapters.
Wow.
And the chapters are long too, so it's been a lot of reading. But it's been an amazing story. And you don't have to suffer through any shit translations. Like there's of course your average like typo here and there,
right?
But nothing unbearable.
Yeah, I mean like that's not fucking what that's not something that I would be worried about, like a periodic typo or like he says as instead of an or whatever. I mean I can deal with that. It's whenever like the sentence is like the speech bubble's like that big and it says. Do what now? What? Like, I'm A, pretty sure that's not what he said. B, I mean, like, fucking come on. Come on. Oh, so bad.
No, Feng Shenji has been very, very good. Highly recommend it.
Do you ever read any horror mangas?
Not really, no.
I love horror mangas. Imagine that. I highly recommend Corpse Party. Every single facet of Corpse Party is good every time. There is not one section of Corpse Party that is bad. It is so fucking gory. I love it. I love it so much.
So what the video game is based off of, I assume?
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy the video game, and I'm probably gonna do a video series on it. And it has one of my favorite scenes in it where they literally splatter punk a girl against a wall. And I'm just like, there's another one. Have you heard of Dead Tube?
No.
Oh my god! So basically, it's like Faces of Death, but you're paid for participation, and whoever gets the #1 spot gets paid, and everyone else gets penalized for it. Like. Yeah, like you lose money if you don't get #1, but if you get #1, you get paid that money. So this one kid ends up, he meets a girl and he's all friends with her. I guess like spoiler warning, but like he meets a girl and he becomes friends with her, and then she says, "Can you come film me?" And he says, "Okay," because he's a big time into film and production and whatever. And so he takes his camera and then he follows her into this like garage. And he starts filming her, but then she starts making out with this dude, and he's like, I don't understand what's happening. And they start getting naked, and they start like getting where they're gonna get down. And so she gets on top of the dude and literally beats his brains out with a baseball bat. And like she just gets splattered in blood. I mean, and she's like, "Did you get it?" And he's like, "I don't know what just happened." But yeah, and he says, "We have to call the police. You're insane. I can't do that." And she says, "But you have a massive erection right now." And he's like, and so he finds out that like his fetish is filming people dying, and so like he now, because he's complicit in this particular murder, this girl uses him as like her personal film crew, and they keep entering in the Dead Tube thing over and over and over and over again. And the story like gets progressively super dark, and it is so fucking violent. And it's angry and it's visceral, and I love it because it's like they put the main character in situations, and the main character is more or less helpless. And I know that a lot of people say like I hate main characters that are helpless, but that's kind of this guy's thing, because whenever you're filming in DeadTube, it is against the rules to harm the person filming. So, I mean, like, the fact that he is more or less super meek, but he has a directorial mind, and he's able to be like, I want you to kill this guy like this. That's what makes him kind of a disturbing character, because he also tries to still be normal. And then he's put into situations where he thinks people are his friends, and then they set up events where they're trying to murder him for DeadTube. And then the girl that he's with turns it around on him and then crushes their plan, and then he films it while they're crying and begging for their lives and shit, and she just individually pushes them off a fucking building. And I'm like, I love this. I don't know, I can't stop. I'm like, click, 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 click. My eyes are like bleeding. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I don't read a lot of horror manga. I think the last like actual horror manga that I read was years ago, and that was Uzumaki.
I feel like I've read that.
One about spirals. It's like a classic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I have read that one. It's been a long time, but yeah, I've read it.
Like, I more read, and sometimes they're kind of horror, but I more read, like, if I'm going that genre, I more read, like, suspense stuff, like Monster. Yeah. Monster was fan-fucking-tastic.
Would you, Jared mentioned Dead Man Wonderland. Would you classify Dead Man Wonderland as suspense?
Probably, if I had to give it a genre, because it's not quite horror.
Yeah, it's not quite horror, and it's also not quite action. Yeah, I mean, it's horrific, but it's not quite horror, but it's also not quite action, because, I mean, there's fighting in it, but it's like, it's one of those where the characters could literally die at any moment. Kind of like, Shingeki no Kyojin is not really, it's not an action. It's about politics, and it's about a story, and about boring you to death.
Drama.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly about trying to see how long the reader is willing to put up with the author's shit before, like, he actually does something interesting, for the most part. I love, like, because I'm pushing Attack on Titan at the same level as Gantz. Not so much as, like, in quality, or because Gantz is a fantastic story, and the artwork is unbelievable, and the Attack on Titan is subpar story and it's shit artwork. But, like, the way that they present a character, where, like, because there's that one scene in the temple in Gantz where they have a whole bunch of characters. Like, the one guy is, obviously a sniper, and then you got, like, the karate master who fights an alien with his bare hands without the suit, and then you got Kay, and you got his girlfriend, and you got the one girl that's in love with him, and then you got the fucking tall guy, and then you're like, oh man, this is gonna be like our A-team. I mean, these guys are gonna kick so much ass, and they all fucking die. All of them. Yep. They kill all of them. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, that's over with. And the show presents itself with such unremitting, like, violence against its characters, that it's startling, but it's also really fucking kind of like, it makes you feel like it gives you that level of suspense all the way throughout, where you're like, just because you're the main character doesn't mean jack. And I love that feeling. Just like in Attack on Titan, where, spoilers again, like, because I'm not gonna say spoilers for Gantz because it's fucking super old. If you hadn't read it by now, you're not going to. But, like, that, if you whenever you're reading Attack on Titan, Johan, I'm gonna call him Jonas, I can't remember his fucking name. The blonde guy from the very beginning, the older guy that watches out for him.
I can't remember his name either. It's been so long since
I know. It's like Johan. It's like Johan or something. But then, like, he tries to save him, and he gets bit the fucking half, guts falling out and everything. And I'm like, no character in this is ever safe. They kill that because they've killed almost every major character except for, well, hell, I mean, they even killed the blonde kid, Armin. They killed him. I mean, they brought him back, but they killed him. They killed Erwin, the commander, dead. I mean, I love stories where the characters are not impervious, because it makes it much more believable and much more human.
Yeah.
And I find that drives a much more tense narrative, especially whenever you're trying to have a story like Gantz or like Attack on Titan, where it's mostly based on how everyone is potentially food, and that no one is safe except for World War II's happening outside. And Okay. Well, that's weird, but fine. I love it though. I mean, I can't think of any other. Well, I mean, I guess Full Metal. Full Metal did that too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Hughes.
Oh yeah. Now that the live action FMA is coming out, we get to watch Hughes die all over again
In live action, so you can actually
Yep.
see a legit tear roll down his face. And
Why are they putting sand on Daddy?
and I'd be like, because he's fucking dead.
He's fucking dead.
He's fucking dead. Your daddy's in that box, and they're not letting him out. Oh my god, I. What do you think about anime to live action movies?
I think they're all fucking horrible and a horrible idea, and it should never happen.
I feel like there's a reason why anime is anime. Because you can get away with the stuff that you do in anime. You know? I mean, like... So, what do you think about... Did you watch the Ghost in the Shell with Scarlet...
I did not get a chance to see it.
I didn't either. I don't know if I want to.
I talked to a couple people that said, oh, if you're super familiar with Ghost in the Shell, it's all right. But then I've heard if you don't know anything else about Ghost in the Shell, it's a fucking waste of time and you're going to hate it.
So, like, if you're completely new to the series, like, it's probably a waste of your time.
Yep.
Wow, you would think they would try to go the opposite. I mean, like, sure, cater to your audience. You know, the people that actually are familiar with the source material. But I mean, come on, don't completely alienate literally the rest of the world. I mean, how many people do you know that are like, they're like, oh yeah, no, I know about Ghost in the Shell. That aren't like your immediate weeb friends. I mean, fucking for me, nobody. I could probably go out and ask 15 people on the street, and not a single fucking person is gonna know about Ghost in the Shell other than it's a Scarlett Johansson movie where she's basically naked.
Yeah. That's
all they're gonna know. Like, isn't that the one where Scarlett Johansson was in that bodysuit? And then I will kill them, and then I'll ask the next person. I watched the trailer, and I watched the trailer, and I spent a lot of time going, I don't get it. I don't know what we're doing. and then she made some comments about that. I can't really recall, but like being very supportive of the movie. Damn it! I wish I could remember what she said. But I remember listening to it going, sounds like you never read it. And I hate that. I fucking hate... Actually, I can't tell what I hate worse. An actor who goes into a live-action movie of work of fiction that was pre-written. Book, comic book, anime, whatever. And hasn't or isn't familiar with the source material and then fucks it up, which is almost forgivable. Or on the flip side, one who has read it and is very familiar and very supportive and even still fucks it up, and it just makes you like, I don't even know. I mean, that's almost punishable by death. I mean, like, you know, that's how I felt about, like, you know, Ben Affleck. And he's like, man, I'm the biggest Batman fan. I'm like, you killed someone. In the very fucking beginning of the movie, you just killed someone. You kill people throughout the fucking movie. Don't tell me you're a goddamn fan of Batman and then you fucking kill someone. You're not a fan of Batman. As soon as you stab that dude, you're not a fucking fan. Game over, and I don't care anymore.
No, Jer, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, Avatar. He has a point. Didn't M. Night Shyamalan say he was a huge fan of the series?
I believe he did. Yeah.
So I mean, like he jumped a shark whilst riding a shark on that one, and you know, Aang. Was it Aang or Ong? He said Ong. Yeah, because he had like the long Ong. Like Ong. I mean, it always sounded like everybody had like a sinus infection throughout the entirety of the show.
Hi, I'm Ong.
He's like, during the Fireland invasion, he got hit with a small piece of rock and it's pressing up against the side of his brain that lets him talk. He's like, I'm Ong.
Yeah, except the rocks in that movie wouldn't have done that much damage.
That's true. That doesn't seem to hurt anybody else. It's just like a floating piece of like styrofoam. Like,
what is that?
Stop it. He did brutally rape. I mean, like he managed again. It's. I always say that it's amusing to me that you can take a manga, comic book, or an animated series, and then you want to adapt it for film, and manage to fuck it up so bad.
Well, yeah, it's like we've said before, is that one of the hardest parts of making a film is storyboarding.
Right.
And when when your source material is a comic or a manga, storyboarding is already fucking done for you.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And it's like, so how fucking hard was it to just take this to this? I mean, and like, it's one of those, if you have any questions, fucking call Zack Snyder, because look at 300. That shit was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It even looked like the goddamn comic book. It was fucking wonderful. And then you guys just take all these other comic book ideas and you just fuck them into the dirt. And I don't get you. I'm not sure where the fuck you're coming from. And I don't think you do either. But I saw the previews for Death Note. Did you see them? The Death Note on Netflix. What do you think about it?
I think it looks like it's going to be a goddamn shit show. That's
It is going to be terrible. Oh my god, it looks so bad. The only thing that looks good is I love that Willem Dafoe is playing Ryuk. The thing I dislike about Willem Dafoe playing Ryuk is that he is noticeably evil. Ryuk was never evil. He just was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he never picked a side. You know, it was just like... And he never really, like... Whenever he gave Light the Death Note, it wasn't like, you know... Because in the previews, he says, hey, while we're at it... You know, he didn't try to pressure him into it. Because from what I recall, when Light got the Death Note, he read the instructions, and then Ryuk didn't even appear until after he'd already killed someone. And that's whenever Ryuk showed up. So, I mean,
he didn't appear until he killed several people.
Yeah.
And that was one of the problems that I had with the trailer, is when Ryuk finally reveals himself to Light, and in the trailer, Light, like, panics. He's like, oh god, what is happening? And that's not at all what happened in the series. Light was like, yep, I expected this. So what happens now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what I mean. Like he was such an intellectual and such a methodical and executing character in the manga and in the anime. Then you put it into the show, and he's just some asshole in a college, and I'm like, so is him being a hyper genius mean that he's just in college? I mean, like, is that what it precludes to be his hyper genius? Does that mean everyone who's left college is no longer a hyper genius? And he pressures Light to use it in the preview, and I'm like, no. I mean, because that was the whole thing. He needs to do it on his own. And then he even goes even further, and whenever he writes the kid's name down, then he says, you know, while we're at it, then why don't we go even further? And then he gives him instructions on how. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. I mean,
because that was originally written in the rules that were in the fucking Death Note.
Yeah, so it's like, why even explain it?
For a certain amount of time, you could fill in, like, details on how they were going to die and when. It wasn't something that had to be explained to him by Ryuk.
Yeah. And L does look terrible. I mean, and like, I don't understand why L looks like Robin Hood, or the Green Arrow's partner. His name fucking escapes me. Damn it. But like, he's got like the hood, and he's got like the black mask that comes up to here, and I'm like, that was the thing about L, is that he was so confident in the way that he had divined the methods that Kira needed to kill, that he could walk up to him and say, I'm L.
Yep.
Because he didn't have his name. You know, he didn't have his name. There's no way he could find out who he was. So, I mean, that was what made him interesting. So then, like, now, in the presentation of this, when the fact that L is being presented as every time that he's face to face with Light, he has that getup on, and I'm like, that's the antithesis of this character, which to me means that this L isn't even half as intelligent as the L in the anime. Not to mention, he's also not nearly as interesting. He still does the sitting on the chair thing, but he does it with his shoes on. I'm like, I feel like we've lost a lot. I feel like we've lost a lot of this character. I mean, like, we lost a lot of Light. I mean, Light's just gone. The only thing that's similar between Light in the anime and in the live action show is that he is human. He is male ? He has light-ish colored hair, and they are both assholes. And but the difference is that Light in the anime was an asshole because he wasn't a nice person, but this one's an asshole because he's a fucking idiot. So I mean,
and it makes me wonder, since this is being produced in America, I assume that if they're going to have Light's father be a police officer, because that shit would fly with an American audience, having this kid murder his father, also a police officer.
Yeah,
they're that they're likely gonna have to change this shit up somehow.
And I don't necessarily think that you're wrong. And I think that's one of the things that it makes me the saddest about it, is that is the level that they're going to have to change the story. And I don't understand. It's one of those, to me, if you're not going to be able to accurately represent the source material, don't pick it up. I mean, it'd be like, let's get a live action adaptation of Berserk. Nope.
Please no.
Can't do it. I mean, you couldn't do it. It would be like, okay, let me amend that. It would be like America being like, let's get a live action Berserk. Nope. Can't do it. I mean, there are so many see, that's the things about the difference, I guess, between the medium is that there is no such thing as PC really in Japan. Yeah. So they, it's they're a culture of, if you don't like it, don't read it. And so if you don't like the source material, then you just didn't consume that media. Whereas in America, even if you didn't consume it and you didn't like it, you are still potentially held liable for harming someone for it simply existing. so I mean, so it's let's say oh, we had Casca in Berserk. She gets raped. Shut it down, folks. Stop everything.
Halt all production.
Halt all production. This isn't what I signed up for. Come on now. This is garbage. Turn this shit around. I just made myself depressed. I don't know, because I knew, because like you said, pretty much every anime to live action is a horrible experience. I knew that Death Note wasn't going to be good. I was very excited at the idea of Willem Dafoe playing Ryuk. I still am, but not because I'm like, oh, he's going to be like Ryuk, because I know he's not. He's not going to be Ryuk. He's going to be like a Ryuk substitute. Yeah. And I'm like, you're not Ryuk. I mean, it's just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's like the upcoming Dark Tower movie. You're not really Roland. You're just you're sort of like him. I mean, I get it. You're a thing, but you're not the actual thing that I was hoping for. So
you're a Roland facsimile.
Right. It's like, whenever you try to impress your friends and you put on leather dungarees or whatever, and you're like, I am a gunslinger, and you're like, you're not. But, you're not.
No,
but I
you're
mean,
not.
You're not, but I appreciate what you're doing, and continue on with your Halloween party, but you're not.
Well, let's say we wrap this up.
Yeah, it's been a good bit. Any closing thoughts other than animated movie is garbage?
Not really. Read One Piece. Give it a chance.
It's so good. It's very good, and like I said, I feel guilty because I haven't been keeping up with it, but I think I'll have to kind of knuckle down and read all the chapters that I've been missing.
Yes, read and watch One Piece, people. I know people take a look at it and initially they go, "Oh God, that art style! What the fuck is this?"
It's so cartoony.
It's so good.
Story-wise, it is. I mean, of the three primary shonens, I think that it's the story-wise, it's the best. Thumbs up of endorsement. In fact, there's 2. 3. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the style, you like, comment, subscribe. We would really love it if you did. And we will see you next Saturday.